Imagine this. You've got a goal in mind. Maybe it's a fitness target, a career switch, or even just starting your side business. You're pumped. You've got energy, the vision, the excitement. The first few days, you're on fire. But then something happens. Life gets busy, the motivation fades, and before you know it, you're back to square one. Familiar? Here's the thing. It's not that you can't change, it's that most people don't know how to change. And more importantly, they don't understand the real reason why they resist change in the first place. And I'm not talking about the usual reasons like laziness or lack of discipline. Those are surface level answers. I'm talking about what's going on deep inside. The reason most people fail to change is because they're stuck in their comfort zone, but not in the way you might think. You see, the comfort zone isn't a place where you avoid pain and effort. It's actually more complex than that. It's a place where your brain is designed to keep you safe. It wants you to survive, not thrive. And that survival is often wrapped in old habits, in routines that have been programmed over the years. And your brain loves certainty. It loves familiarity. When you try to break out of that, it freaks out. Neuroscientifically speaking, the brain's reward system is actually wired to prioritize short-term comfort over long-term success. It's why the allure of Netflix after a long day is much stronger than hitting the gym. It's why eating that extra slice of pizza seems so right, even when you know it doesn't align with your goals. Your brain equates the easy, familiar path with safety, and it will do everything it can to keep you on it. Now, here's the catch. The place where you want to be, the place where the magic happens, is outside that comfort zone. This is where your growth lives. But most people never get there because they don't realize the secret. The path to that magical place is filled with boring, repetitive work, not the exciting, Instagram-worthy hustle culture that everyone talks about. No, the real work is often just mind-numbingly boring, and that's where people drop off. So what can we do? You see, disinterested persistence is the first technique I want to talk to you about today. It's the ability to keep showing up, especially when you don't feel like it. You see, success isn't about the bursts of inspiration or motivation that we get every now and then. When you start a new fitness regime, the first few days you're pumped. You've got new gym clothes, the pre-workout is just hitting right, and you feel on top of the world. But after a week or two, the excitement fades. You don't feel like going, the exercises are repetitive, the results are slow. This is where most people quit. The magic doesn't happen in those first few days of excitement. The magic happens when you push through the boredom. When you show up, do the reps, even when there's no visible reward yet. It's about showing up day after day, even when the thrill is gone. It's about grinding through the mundane, and here's the reason why. Most people think discipline is about motivation. That's wrong. It's about rewiring your brain to find satisfaction in the small, steady steps. If you rely on inspiration, you'll fail every time. But if you can teach your brain to find pleasure in the process itself, you'll start to win. You've got to learn to fall in love with the work, not the outcome. That's how transformation happens. You see, change is not glamorous. Most people think that successful people are constantly motivated, but that's a myth. What they've mastered is the art of showing up, even when they don't want to. They've gotten comfortable with being uncomfortable. They've learned that the most important transformation comes not from doing what's exciting, but from doing what's boring and unsexy repeatedly. Here's something you probably don't hear often. Your environment is sabotaging you. Not just physically, but mentally. If you want to make real changes, you need to build an environment that supports you. Your brain has these things called mirror neurons, which make you subconsciously mimic the behavior of the people and things around you. If you're surrounded by distractions or people who don't have the habits you want, guess what? You're going to fall back into these old patterns no matter how hard you try to change. So the solution is design your environment for success. So, want to stop procrastinating on that project? Remove every possible distraction from your workspace. Surround yourself with things that remind you of your goals. Visual cues that push you towards the action even when your brain is screaming to stay comfortable. It's not about willpower, it's about tricking your brain into thinking this new reality is the only reality. Let's talk about another lesser known trick, which is temptation bundling. This is a psychological hack that allows you to pair something you love with something you're avoiding. For example, only allowing yourself to watch your favorite TV show when you're on the treadmill or listening to your favorite podcast while doing your least favorite task at work. You're essentially hacking your brain's dopamine system by rewarding it by doing the boring stuff. This actually keeps you in the game even when motivation fails. Now, here's where it gets even more powerful. Focus on identity-based habits, not just outcome-based habits. Let me explain that. Most people fail because they set goals about what they want to achieve. Lose 10 pounds, write a book, run a marathon, but those are just outcomes. Instead, shift your focus to who you want to become. Don't just aim to lose weight. Become the type of person who prioritizes health. Don't just aim to write a book. Become the kind of person who writes every day. When you attach your identity to the habit itself, the actions become automatic and the change is inevitable. Finally, I want to speak to you about self-compassion. We're all so hard on ourselves when we fail to meet our own expectations. Neuroscience tells us that self-criticism activates the brain's threat response system, the same system that goes off when we're physically in danger. So when you beat yourself up for not sticking to your habits, you're triggering the very system that makes change feel impossible. What's the antidote then? Self-compassion. Recognize that change is hard for everyone. It's not a linear path, and every setback is actually an opportunity to learn, not a reason to quit. So the next time you wonder why you're not changing, look beyond the surface. The secret lies in mastering the boring work, rewiring your brain's reward system, and creating an environment that actually supports your growth. Because at the end of the day, the magic happens right outside of your comfort zone, but only if you're willing to persist through the dullness. That's where real transformation lies. If you enjoyed our time together today, you will most definitely want to click on this next video right here. I will see you there. Bye.